Hello, hello. Hope you're doing okay today. Let me know where you're watching from. Looks like we've got one from South Africa, so welcome, Wimpy, and Christina from California. Welcome. We'll get started here in just a second. Let me know if if I haven't already said this yet, let me know if the music's too loud or my voice is too quiet or any of the other combinations that are possible, and that'll help me make sure that you can actually hear what's going on here. All right, well, welcome officially. Good to see you. This is a viewer submitted challenge, which is slightly tongue-in-cheek because it's a friend that sent it to me, but the friend is also a viewer. So we're going to look into this challenge. They got this at work. And so if I understand this challenge correctly, let's just make sure that's one of the options is that I don't. But they have these little cards that pop up. And as they pop up, they don't have this little X visible. On desktop, when you hover your mouse, your cursor over it, it should show that. And I just realized I may not have been sharing my screen. It should show that, and then if you hover over it, it should show a remove this result little like badge or indicator. And then on mobile, it should not show it until you tap the card, at which point it will then show it. So that's kind of the UI challenge, and it dismisses them one at a time. And then finally, the last card for either desktop or mobile should not have an X, so you shouldn't be able to remove it. So the idea is this like stuff coming back from some kind of database or a query that you're making. I think in this case it was ChatGPT, so you're asking it questions and it pops it up, and they had this at work and had to build it out, so send it to me as a challenge. Now, like all these challenges, I did actually redesign it, just basically took their design and put it in Figma and then took a screenshot of it because there was some stuff that I wasn't sure like it was okay if I just would stream it. So other than that though, I've done no thinking about it. I've tried not to kind of process what I would do, and so that's the idea here is we're just going to do it fresh, and you'll get to hear my thinking. And I think it was a React and probably some kind of UI library or something, so I think we'll probably keep it a little bit more simple and just do I was going to say just vanilla JavaScript. Maybe we should do React, but I think we'll just do vanilla JavaScript just to keep it real simple. So let's come in here and we'll just create an index.html file. And let's just boilerplate some stuff. This will be like cards UI. And then let's also create like an app.js, and we'll do a style.css. Maybe, if it lets us. If it creates it for us. Right now it's just thinking, okay. It's going to be that kind of day, huh? That's all right. All right, we've got after. And I can't hear the music, by the way, so if it's too loud, like I said, please let me know. I hear just like stuff coming through my headphones that seems kind of loud, but I guess it's going to be up to you, not to me, so let me know. Let's go ahead and link this up. So we've got this up to style.css. That should work. And I'll also go ahead and just pull in the script here. We'll set this to the app.js, and because it's in the head here, I do need to make sure it's a type of module, which will do a couple things. It will defer it till after the body loads, and it will also make it a module because that's what it means. All right, so with that said, let me make sure that this is all working properly. So let's console.log something in here, and then I'm just going to use live server to get this up and running, which will probably open my other browser, so we might have some issues, but we'll figure it out. I think it's like 5500 is what it starts at, maybe. Yeah, port 5500. There we go, as promised. Okay, so over this way, let's just make sure something is actually happening. Something, okay, cool. And just to make sure the style sheet is working, let's come in here and have like a body, a background color blue, and that's also working. Okay, so with that said, why don't we focus on the actual content first. I think the way this worked is it came from some kind of UI where they clicked a button and it, if I'm remembering correctly, and it generated something. Balance is good. Okay, cool. Thanks, Wimpy. Make sure. And some, let's start with just the basics. So let's go ahead and do that. I think, no, I'm going to change it up. Let's go button and let's have an ID here of like generate cards. I'll take this generate ID and let's just go ahead and grab it over here. So we'll say button generate button equals document.query selector, and we'll just grab the generate ID And then we'll grab that button to add event listener. I'm not sure why I'm getting exactly 0 help here. Add event listener. Click. Now I got to test my spelling and whether or not I can remember what all these things are called without any helps. That's all right. And then what I want to do is just, I guess we don't even need the event here. We'll just generate random cards. And this will be a function we write where we generate some random cards. The other thing I'll need is some kind of a container to dump these in, but let's go ahead and at least start with this function right here. And let's see, let's come over here. Let's have a container. So we'll have like a card container. And maybe let's make this an ID. All right, so let's grab this as well. Oh, maybe it's because I spelled document wrong. There we go. Card container. Card container. All right, what we're going to do is generate a bunch of random cards and dump them into the DOM down here. Let's go ahead and just grab, let me actually just ask ChatGPT, give me 10 random sayings from, I don't know, like 10 to 25 words long. Okay, perfect. We have it, put it in a JavaScript array. And I'll just grab this. This is an app called Raycast. I guess I could have done this with something else too, but it just ties into ChatGPT, and I don't know, it's easier than opening up a website. All right, so then what we're going to do is we'll sayings, let's see, generate random cards, yeah. So we'll just say sayings for each. Let's map over it. Let's say map over each saying, and I just want to, actually, I don't even need to do that. Let's just say like get HTML. Get card HTML. Let's first capture it and then I'll show you what it'll do. So let's card stuff, card HTML. We should probably name that something more useful. And then let's console log this when we get it. So right here, we're going to do function get card HTML. We're going to take in a card, and then we'll just return a string here. And for now, like just looking at this instruction, let's just have it to where we'll have this whole thing as like obviously like probably an article or something is probably what I would semantically name this. So it's an article, we'll have 2 buttons inside of it at the bottom, and then this will be position absolute. So I think that's what I would do. So we'll see. So let's have an article. And then inside here, we're going to have whatever the saying happens to be. So I can just put the C directly in here, but let's do like a paragraph tag. All right. And then again, I could have done React or something like that, but I think this will be just fine. And then we'll have a div down here. We'll call this like class button container, because we're going to have 2 buttons side by side. And so the first button will say insert. Will I actually make these insert things and copy things? I don't know, maybe. I think the idea was it was like inserting it into like a section on the page. I think those are good. And then let's come up top here. We'll have like a close or delete button. And this will just have the X inside of it. So let me grab, let's grab something from radix icon close. Cross, what was it, like this? And again, this is Raycast, another extension that comes along with it. And here we're just going to have a class like close button or something. All right, that way we can grab those after the fact. All right, so I think that's good. We're going to generate those. When I do, I should get back a console log of an array of items. And so let's click this and see what happens. Did something happen? Let's check. Okay, here we go. It's just not showing down here. Okay, so I've got this array of items. And now what I want to do is join them. So we're going to join them on nothing. And that way we get rid of it and it's just a string like this. So if I click here again, let's try again. If I click. Okay, there we go. So it's just an array, like a string now. Now what I can do is update the, what was it, this card container. So let's just append this to the HTML. So we'll say card container dot append adjacent, append adjacent. Oh, come on. Insert. There we go. Insert adjacent HTML. Now I'm like freaking out that this thing is not working for me. Let's do before end, and then we'll just add the card HTML. And maybe we should call this like cards HTML, just to make sure it's clear that we have more than one. Okay, so there you go. So now I'm getting stuff come in. If I refresh, oh, I ran this card. No wonder it's happening automatically. Okay, I gotta wait till I click it. Then it shows. Okay, there we go. I was wondering why that happened. All right, so at least we've got something in there. We've got the X here as well. Let's make sure that those X's work now. Think about this. We start with the DOM with nothing in it but the card container, right? So that would be this right here. And so we can't listen for an event on the individual X's because they don't yet exist. But we can use event propagation, listen for events inside that card container, and then check to see what's been clicked. So that's what we're going to do. So let's see, we've got event listeners down here, just to kind of keep stuff plain and clear. Hopefully this makes sense. These are like query selectors. I don't know if this helps anyone else, but sometimes I'll do this just to kind of keep the sections of my document plain. And these will just be like function calls. All right, so we need to do one more event listener, and that would be to come down here and listen on the card container. Add event listener. We're going to listen for a click, and then all I want to do is grab is console log the. Well, first of all, I guess we got to grab the event, and then we can console log it. So let's console.log, and we're going to console log two things: the target, and that will be equal to the e.target, and then we're also going to console log the current target, just to kind of show the difference between these if these aren't clear to you. Current target. I think I've done a video recently, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago on that. All right, so back over this way. If I click here, now anytime I click inside of this, in fact, maybe what we should do is come over here and grab my card container. And let's do like a border 2 pixels, solid and red. Oh, I need a class as well. So let's grab this. I'll say class and drop that in there. All right, there we go. So now if I generate the cards, you see this whole section. So anytime I click inside of here, this event down here should fire, right? So if I click here, notice I get 2 things, the target and the current target. So the current target is the actual card container, and the actual target, the thing I clicked on, is the button div, the button container for the div. So what it's doing is these 2 different things. The current target is always the thing you set the event listener against. So I put the event listener on the card container. So no matter where I click, if it's inside the card container, current target will always be the card container. That's it. Otherwise, it's not going to fire at all. So current target is always whatever you set it against. But sometimes within the thing that you set it against, there are other things you can click. For instance, you can click one of these divs right here, or I could click a button right here, or I could click this button right here. And these are the buttons I care about. So I'm not interested in the current target. All I want to know is if the e.target has a certain class on it. So if I click one of these, let's clear all this out. If I click this, notice that this is an SVG. So I also need to probably make sure that those SVGs cannot be clicked. So we'll change that in a second too. What I actually want to do is click the button itself. So let's clear this out one more time. Let's see where we at over here. What I actually want to do is pay attention to this button click right here and say, does it have a class of close button? So let's do that. Those 2 things so I don't forget. So there's a couple ways you can mess with the SVG. I could just come over to the SVG right here. See up top here, and I can make sure you can't click it by adding like a style attribute there. But why don't we just come over here and we'll just say that all SVGs have pointer events of none, which you wouldn't want to do in a production application necessarily, but I don't know, a lot of times they're kind of in the way. So now no matter where I click inside this button, I can't click on the SVG, and that's a good thing because I'm trying to pay attention to the thing I clicked on, and I don't want to be able to click on that SVG. So now what I can do is come back over here, and all I'm going to check against is this e.target. So I'll say if e.target.classList. Nope, can't do that. Let's just check first of all. Yeah. If e.target. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I guess I just want the class list.contains. Although I'm getting no help, so I'm kind of forgetting if that's how it is. Close button. So let's just check against this. If this is true, then console.log X clicked. All right, so let's try again. I come over here, click this, console.log. Oops. Why doesn't this like things? Oh. Let's clear this out, and it looks like maybe I have the log being preserved, which, let's not do that. So I don't have to clear that constantly. Okay, so I'm gonna hit this. If I click over here, it should say X clicked. Okay, if I click anywhere else, it shouldn't say that. If I click in here, all these things, so nothing else is firing, which is good. So let's just, maybe instead of doing that, we'll just say if it doesn't contain that, then just return. So we're gonna return early out of it. So it won't do anything. Otherwise, anything we do down here, we can be sure is only gonna be on actual buttons that have been clicked. So if they've been clicked, what I wanna do is then go up the chain in the DOM and basically remove its parent. So if you look back over this way, right here, so the parent of the button is the article. That's what I want to remove. I think in this case, they like stored it in state still because it was React, but I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. All right, so let's take the e.target, and what I want is the parent element, I think. The other thing I could do is like the closest and just grab the article tag, but in this case, I know it's going to be the parent element. Probably I would have like, maybe we should do this. So I'll probably have a card class on here, honestly, in like reality. So I should probably look at the closest card just in case more things come between that X and something else. So sometimes it'll start one way, but to make it more flexible, like just go to the like most specific selector here. So what I want then is the closest. So this will go up the DOM chain and look for the closest thing that happens to have the class of card. And that is what I want to remove. All right, and hopefully I did all that correctly without helps. So I didn't know we were going to get that much test this morning. So click. Oh, look at this. We're just deleting stuff. Okay, so we're done, except for the styling, which I think was part of the UI challenge. In fact, that may have even been a lot of the UI challenge. But hopefully that makes sense. So we've generated cards. When we click generate cards right here, it generates random cards and then runs this function. The function stores in state in this variable cards HTML string all these things that have been mapped over, and for each of the items, it's been passed to this card HTML. The card HTML gets that item, and then it generates this HTML. It dumps this back in here, and now we've got an array. So we're going to join the array, and we're going to join it with a space, which means it'll just kind of have it as a string, a continuous HTML string. That's what we're going to then insert into the card container itself. Now, with that card container on the page, we can do an event listener against that. And all we're going to do is check to see whether or not the target, the thing we clicked on, has a class close button. If it does not, return. If it does, then we're going to go ahead and remove it. And that's it. So that's all the JavaScript I think we'll probably do. Maybe we'll add this insert copy button here in a second. But now we can delete all these. We can generate more cards. So let's do a couple things. Let's start with some styling to make sure this doesn't look like total crap. Let me move this over this way, and let's show something here. Okay, so we've got some stuff. I think I'm not going to worry too much about like the colors of all this. Let's get rid of this card container border. SVG, do I need anything else here? I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up, as I am wont to do, some variables. So let's start with some colors, and let's have. I'm just going to do like background or something like that. Is that what I want? Definitely. That's what I want. Okay, so here I'm just going to do HSL. Well, yeah, let's do HSL first of all, and I'll show you why I don't normally do this. So we'll do something like, I don't know, 220. I don't know. And then let's do like 50% and like 99%. All right, so this is a little extension I have called colored something. I don't remember, so if you're interested, let me know and I can try to track it down, but it'll show it to you inline there. Let's come in here, and this is to, let's say text, and we'll do the same thing, except we'll do like 9%. It's a little hard to see against this background, but we'll do muted, and here we'll do like 20% and like 50% maybe. Maybe a little bit lighter, 80%. Sure. All right, so we'll call it something like that. This, I think I just literally grabbed random colors in Figma. That's not what it was supposed to be. So we'll use like a text. What if we did text muted for that other one? All right, and then I will change this to something slightly lighter. So let's do like 20, and probably also something more like that. Okay, so those are our 4 colors. These like right here, those are just for dramatic effect, just to show you what you have to do. They're not part of the UI. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and get a couple things ready. So let's take the body, and here I'm going to just display grid it and place items center. We'll do min height of 100 VH as well. All right, so I think that's good. Let's go ahead and add some padding as well. So let's add some variables here for like spacing. And I'll go ahead and grab some stuff from Utopia. FYI, I've used this a lot before on stream just because it's quick. I want some space, fluid space options. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab, let's do this right here. And then I typically rename these, but I don't think I will in this case. So all I'm doing is grabbing these. Honestly, I should probably just be grabbing open props so I don't have to do all this. Yeah, let's just do that. I'd rather do that. Okay, so let's do that. Let's come over to open props. Welcome from Malaysia. Thanks for joining. Let's see, open props. What am I looking for? Down this way. So what open props does is it gives you a bunch of CSS variables essentially set to different things. So as you build out your own stuff, you don't have to start by like generating all this boilerplate. Obviously, if you use something like some UI framework that already has that kind of stuff, then it's not a big deal. But what am I looking for? I'm just looking for like the HTML thing. I might just grab it from one of these because I'm pretty sure that's how the code pin's set up. Yeah. Okay, so let's just grab all this and we'll just dump it in up top. Now the normalize is going to do a bunch of stuff to it, I think. Trying to figure out why this isn't working. Style.css, I did. That is definitely being generated. It's supposed to be faster. Let's see. Just let me not do this normalize. I just thought the normalize would show some more stuff, but it's not. So we'll see. Okay. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. That's definitely not right. Let's come back in here. There's got to just be like a HTML declaration I can have. I just don't remember what it is. Ah, okay. This is what I want. Welcome to Chris trying to find things to put into his document. These are all import statements. Well, why is this hard to find? How am I missing this? Okay, well, I'm just gonna assume that I have it, and if I don't, then I'm just gonna forget about it. Okay, so back over here, I should have all those declarations. Let's go ahead and see. So if I do a background color, that's probably what I should have done to start with. And let's just grab one of the colors. I think it's like brown something gray. Okay, so let's do var gray like 2. So the idea here is you can basically just pull these things in. No, it's definitely not working. I'm not sure why this isn't working though. Oh, okay, well, forget about that. Let's go back to what we had and just be happy with life. We're gonna call that a happy diversion. So up here, didn't I have like a, okay. Let's just come in here and add these back. Okay, so the whole reason we did that was to come in here and have like a padding here of our space, and let's just like medium maybe. And that way we've got some padding around the outside. I'll set the background color here to HSL of like my background probably, or maybe I could do my muted. Now, I mentioned that I don't typically do it like this, and that's because usually what I do is I remove all these HSLs and I let my wrapper do that instead. And so I'll actually remove these here as well. And that way, oops, We'll just use the more modern syntax, where what I can do is come inside here and just do a / and do like 0.2, and it will have opacity by default. Again, if you watch me in the past, that's what I typically like to do. I don't know how professional that is, but that's my thing. So everyone's got to have something, right? 85%. Let's come in here. Okay, back to what we were doing. Let's take the card container, and let's do display of grid and gap of like 2 rem. And that will space those things out here eventually. The other thing I probably want to do is just go ahead and place content center as well. Nah, we're not doing this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Yeah, no, we're going to do grid template rows, and we're going to do 1FR and auto. And that way the button for generate is always down below here, and I can just generate, you know what, maybe we should make it at the top. So let's do that. So let's say 1FR like this and auto, which means I need to come back to my HTML and just swap the place of these two things here. So let's pop this bad boy up here, and that way it's always at the top. I generate cards, it shows the cards. I delete the cards, it puts the cards back. Okay. Oops, let's come back over here though, and we'll say like align items start. And that way when I delete them, they stay up top, don't they? What? Okay. Okay, I think it's because I place item center here. Okay, that's fine. All right, now I should be able to delete these. Okay, there we go. All right, align item start. Anything else I need? Grid auto flow. Columns, it's already set to that by default. Yeah, I think we're good there. Okay, so we've got the cards being able to be generated here. Maybe we should work on this button so that it looks like these are supposed to look. The hard thing is this button thing is going to be on the same background color. So let's maybe add a little like, I don't know, button container. Do I already have a button container? Let's do a button wrapper since we're into naming things really well today. Let's grab the button wrapper, and we're going to say display grid, place items center, just put everything in the center, and then we'll have a background color on here, and we'll just wrap it in our background, and that way it's that same kind of nice color. We'll say max width fit content. We should make it hug that card right now, and then we'll say margin inline of auto. Should put it in the middle. Okay. You could also justify self center, which since it's a grid child, I usually try to do that. Just, it almost is like a little hint to me, like, oh, this is a grid child. So maybe we'll do that. Now let's add some padding as well. So let's pop this thing down here. And there we go. Look at this. Let's add a couple things. Let's do like a rounded stuff. Radius is, I don't know. We'll just do roundings. How about that? Roundings. What is spelling anyhow? Or words? That's also not a word. Okay. Let's do rounded, like small. And we're going to set this to like 4 pixels. We'll do rounded medium and set this to something like 8. And then we'll do rounded large. And we'll set this to something like 12. I don't know if we're going to need those, but we're going to pretend that that's exactly what we need. So on the button wrapper itself, let's go ahead and just do border radius. And here we're going to do var rounded. Let's do large, because that looks about right. Sure. And then we'll do a box shadow on here, just to kind of spiff it up a bit. Let's do like, I don't know, 1 pixel, 1 pixel. Let's do like 10 pixels of blur. And here we're going to take the text, and we'll just opacity it by like 40%. Oh, genius. Let's do 12. Let's do like 1%. Okay. I mean, that doesn't look like the nicest thing I've ever seen. Let's come in here with a small. Okay, so now we can generate this card. Now we just basically need to copy a lot of this for the actual card itself. Look at that. Okay. What else do I want on this card container? Let's maybe just like place items. Start. Is that what I want? I don't know what I want. That's the problem. Button wrapper, card container. Let's justify content. Start. Justify items. Start. Because it's a... Nope. What am I in? I'm in a grid container. Let's just do it over here since we're working really well right now. All right, what do I want? I want these things like this all the way over. Right? And then what I want is to... Okay, that was fine. I forgot I had copied the button styles over for the button wrapper to the card. Okay, so I think that's right. So justify, both of these would be start. So let's just go back to place items of start. Okay, so that should work. And now I just need to come over here and let's get rid of a lot of these things. And let's see, what else do I need? Border radius, max width, fit content. I don't know, we'll figure out some of the other stuff. Let's go to the body and actually add some gap too. So we can say gap, space, let's do large. Okay, so there we go. So these are kind of spaced apart properly-ish now. Anything else I need to do there? I don't think so. Maybe do like one rem. Actually, I got these variables now. Let's use them. Come in here to small. Okay, so got that mostly working. Let's maybe change up the body, font body. This is in no particular order today. I'm sorry. System UI. Isn't there like a system UI or something I can use? Can I use the system UI? Sans serif. Oh. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I just want some help. Some autocomplete. Okay, we're going to use that. That's not super important what it is. All right, I think we're mostly getting there. Let's see. Let me pull this card container down so I can actually see what's going on. Put it next to the cards. We're going to call that button wrapper good. Is all this the way I want it? Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's see. We've got this. That works. Background color, that's fine. Fit content. Let's just set it to the full width for now. Justify self-center. That's what I don't need. Let's see. Border radius. That's fine. Box shadow. That's fine. Okay, so we got at least that stuff. We also need a position relative since we're going to position that X relatively as well. And then while we've got this gap, let's go ahead and add a, or this grid, let's go ahead and add a gap of our space like medium or something. Probably gonna have to change that. Yeah, extra small, 2XL, 2X small. That'll work. The X is gonna be position relative. So what do we name that thing? We need our app. Close button. So let's grab this close button and just position absolute this thing. Get out of here. All right, and that will stick to the top for now. We'll change that here in a second. Other things I need to do then, let's set a max width on the card. So we'll say max width of like, I don't know, let's do 200 pixels. 280 pixels, much better. I think that's good there. Maybe let's just work on the buttons now. So everything should have a class of button, at least that's what I'm gonna do. So let's come back over this way. And I think even this will have a class button. So that way we can kind of style everything together. So that'll have a class button. Both of these will have a class of button. We can kind of do all those stylings together. And then over here, let's also throw a button on this thing here. Class of button. We are going to style these things right now. So let's do cursor of pointer. Now I should be able to come over here and get this little cursor. That's good. Let's set the font to inherit, so it should grab everything from the body, which is what I want. Let's set the background color. And here, because I'm going to use this in a couple different locations, we're going to use it for this darker one, and I'm going to use it for this other one. I'm going to set this to like a localized variable. So one of the things you can do is underscore those. That's sometimes what people do. So we could say like button color equals, let's just, for now, like set it as a default. We'll say that muted color. And now what I can do is set this to my var of button color. And so it should take on that background color. Let's set the border to none. And yeah, let's grab the color on all these. So let's make sure we've set that too. So let's just do that in the body. So we'll take the color and set this to our text. And now that should update everywhere on the body, including in the buttons, because we've inherited all that from the body declaration. So a lot of times you could like redo all this manually, but that's what inheritance is for. Okay, I think that's good. Let's add some padding, and then I'll show you kind of what I'm going to do differently on that little X button. So here we'll do var a space, I don't know, let's do like extra small maybe. Wow. Do I have a 3x small? Oh, do I have a 3x small? Yeah, okay, that'll work. I think those look about the same, honestly. Maybe we could, I guess we could have like a 3x small for that. Maybe this could just be 2x small. That looks a little bit better. Let's also have a border radius. And here we'll have rounded small. I mean, I feel pretty good about that. We've got a button container. And then I'll finally get to what I told you I'd do. And this will be display flex, gap var space. Sure. Extra small. Nope. 2x small for sure. Okay. I think we're basically set there. Now, what I'm going to do is take this button and say that if the button also has the close button class, then maybe we should move this bad boy down too. All I have to do is update this color, right? So let's come in here. We'll update this, and we're going to update it to our text muted. So text muted like this, and now it will actually pick up this different color, right? So that's the whole idea there. And then it should be able to also set the color here. So I don't have a local declaration because it's just inheriting from the body. So again, no need to overcomplicate stuff. Let's just change on the close button. The other thing is I probably also want the padding here to be changed. So we'll just say var a space 3 XL, X small, and now it's the same all the way around. And then we'll say line, height of 1, and just to make sure, let's do aspect ratio of 1/1. So it should be a perfect square-ish. The other thing I probably want to do, honestly, is set this as like display flex, and then like justify content center, and align items center. Now, obviously, I don't have multiple things inside of here, but the idea would be if I add some extra stuff to these buttons. So let's say I took this right here, this SVG, and I added something else to it. So if I added like span, it said like yo, 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 then we could come in here, and those would be next to each other when I generate the cards again. Oh, genius. It's aspect ratio square right now, so that's kind of messing it up, but you can see how it actually stacks it next to each other, and that's what you'd want in a scenario like that, where you have text and a button. And we don't happen to have this in this design, but when has that ever stopped me from adding something like that? Okay, so there we go. I think that's mostly there. Let's maybe add some hover states to this thing. So let's come inside here, and we can do this with native CSS nesting, so maybe we should just do that. We say whenever the actual button itself, that's what this ampersand represents, is hovered, then let's just like change the opacity to 0.9 or something. Okay, look at that. Very, very pro. That's also where we're at it. Just transition this on the opacity, like 200 milliseconds ease in out. Now it's a little more smooth. There we go. Probably also could change this focus state. So let's say on the focus, we need the outline color to be transparent to get rid of the transparent color, but still allow for some accessibility. There is a way you can set up a high contrast thing, and if you just like remove the outline altogether, it actually breaks that. So try not to do that. But I don't want their default outline, so I'm going to set it to focus outline color transparent, and then on the focus visible, here's where we're going to do the box shadow thing I do all the time, which is where you take 0 left, 0 right, 0 blur, and then like so much around the button. So here we could do like 2 pixels, and just to make sure it's clear, let's do this. So if I focus on it, you see I get this like blurring around it, so I probably want this more like 4 pixels. See that? So outline color, outline. Okay, outline transparent, that's what I need. So you see how now we got this showing up around it. Now what we can do is add a second one right after here. And I can do that with just a comma. And I could set this to something like blue, but it needs to be outside of the other one. Does that make sense? So it has to be visible on the outside. So something like that. So maybe we go back to 2 here. Oh, look at that. Now all I have to do is change this to HSL background and HSL of, let's do text, muted. Oh no, is the text muted? Like this? What's my text muted one? Oh, underscore. I never do that. I don't know. Whatever you do, be consistent. Okay. So now you see we get this much nicer effect. And if we want to, we can get extra snazzy here and add another transition. So we could say on the box shadow, we want it to be like 150 milliseconds. And then let's see if we can grab a cubic Bezier curve. We're just going to steal one of these from VS Code. Look at that, snappy. Very snappy. Let's take like this down to 70 or something so it's a little quicker. Okay, so now you can actually tab through them as well. You get this nice hover effect. Now all I have to do is actually do the thing we came to do, which is that when you click on this, these should not be showing by default. So let's come back to the close button. And I think what I'm going to do is a couple things. I want them to be visible to screen readers and stuff. So I don't think I want to like remove them from the page or anything. So I think we could just set like an opacity of 0 on this, right? Now they're just gone. The hard thing is they have that opacity. Oh no, yeah, they're not going to show. Okay. I was going to say, are they going to show on like entry or whatever? Then what I'm going to do is say, let's go ahead and let's get this thing down here. Let's just do, again, another one of these CSS like nested things. All right, local CSS nesting. We're going to say whenever it's hovered, then I can just change the opacity to 1, I think. Ooh, except I want when the card is hovered, right? So let's just say when the card is hovered, then I want the close button inside the card to receive an opacity of 1. So now I should be able to come in here and yeah, okay, so that shows. But I don't get the cursor till I come here. Okay, cool. Probably should also position this thing correctly first before I start hiding it. So let's go top var space 3 extra small or something. And then let's go right 3x small. I mean, it's a little intense on that rounding. So nice thing about these variables, we can just come up top here and drop that guy off. Honestly, maybe we put this at 8. Did I even use the medium rounding at all? I doubt it. We're going to do something like that. Okay, so now it shows up there. Feel pretty happy with that. I probably honestly want to change this width and height just a touch. Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, okay. So let's come back here. The other thing is I am going to want some kind of ARIA label or something, because right now, if you tab to this, you have no idea what it does with screen readers and stuff. In fact, I can show you that. If you do Command Function F5 on Mac at least, you probably can't hear this, at least hopefully you can't, because it will be really distracting. Oh, Google Chrome's not responding. Okay, but you can see how it says button image group. Talk about a not helpful thing. So insert, copy, button image group article. Again, not helpful at all. So that's what we want to change here. So let's come over here and add an ARIA label, and we'll say something like remove this result from the list. Or, remove this result. People aren't idiots. That should be fine. In fact, we can do a couple other things here, but like this button right here, we can either have this whole hover effect be a title that just shows like that, but it's a little harder to style those. Or we can have it be like a before after pseudo element, so I'll probably have it be that. But that is another thing we could do here, is if you just want a very simple like call out like that, you can come in here and add this as a title, and then you kind of get 2 for 1 here. So this now, if I don't have this ARIA label, in fact, I think it works this way. Let's check. All right, let's experiment. I'm going to turn it back on. We're going to come in here. Now it says remove this result, even though I don't have the ARIA label on it because I have the title. I don't actually know what's the better thing to do accessibility-wise, but the cool thing is if I hover over this, I also am going to get that tooltip, remove this result. So the title is kind of a 2 for 1. Again, I don't know if that's the most accessible. I'm not totally sure the difference between title and ARIA label here in this case because it does read it out, at least in the default macOS screen reader. So if you know that, let me know. All that to say, we're going to grab the title itself. Let's just set this as an ARIA label because we're not really going to be using that title. I don't want it to hover by default, so we don't have to figure that out today. All right, back here. So I've got this. Let's also maybe go ahead and do that button before we hide it and make sure we got the touch stuff working properly as well. So this should be positioned correctly. Opacity eventually will be 0. Oops, 0 like this. When I come here, now it should actually hover on and off, right? But I also want to position the before suit element that says remove this result, this little bad boy right here. So let's, again, let's just do native nesting here. We'll say the after before let's do after. That's fine. It needs to have some content, which is good for us because we want it to say remove this result. Doesn't title also provide a tooltip? Yes, no, it does. I just showed that. No worries, Christina. Yeah, so yeah, that was the other thing you could do, and you kind of get a 2-for-1 there, but maybe that didn't make sense. So let me know if that's the case. Excellent. That's exactly what I want. Position of absolute. And then let's do a couple things here. Let's set the max width to fit content. Actually, that's going to wrap it still. So let's do max content. That will, let's see, max content. I want the width set to max content. There we go. Let's add a background color in here. Actually, let's grab the stuff from the card. So we're going to grab this, this, and this. Okay, let's come back down here. Where are we at? Down this way? Excellent. So let's set the color now of the text to our text color. There we go. Little intense on this padding, so let's do like extra, oops, 2x small. Oh, yes. We're gonna do bottom 0 and left 0, right. Oh, you don't want something, it has to be inside of that. Okay. Maybe I should do it off the card. No, I'm gonna do it off the top of that. So we're just gonna do like 20 pixels, and this will always be fixed, so it's not a huge deal. And then we'll do wait. There we go. Left 100%, let's do like 30. And again, this is a little hacky the way I'm doing this, but and you can see here, like on mobile, it's not quite working properly. There is actually a pop-up. We should do that. We should look into the pop-up API because you can actually position it based off of another element. It's brand new to CSS and HTML. I haven't really done it before, so should I try it now? Of course. Let's go ahead and have an opacity here of 0. Let's at least get this thing working first. Then what we're going to do is this. We're going to say whenever we have a hover, then we want to go inside and grab the after, and we want to set the opacity to 1. So if I come over here, now it should show, right? Let's also have a transition on this of opacity, 250 milliseconds, ease in, out. Oh, buttery smooth. That's what I was looking for. 100 milliseconds, a little faster. Oh yeah, now we know. Okay, now all we have to do is turn back on our opacity 0 thing, and I think at least when it comes to this stuff, it's working. All right, cool. Now, if I switch into mobile mode, let's go, sure. You'll notice that I have nothing to click. But if you click here, it actually does provide a focus state on here, which happens by default, I think. So, like, mobile devices basically make it to where when you click on the card itself, it has like a hover effect on it. So I think that's all I have to do. Yeah, so let's take this card container, and let's style that a little bit differently so that they don't like kind of spread out. Where's my card container? Oh, here we go. Place item start. Is that what I want? Content start. That should put it at the top, I think, as I delete these. Yeah, okay. Oh, and you know what the last thing is? I can't have a button on this final one. So we'll hide that completely. So we'll say close button. Let's see if it's the first child. Display none. Let's see. Oh, yes. Now none of them are first of type. Let's try this one. Okay. I always forget how this works. So first nth child, 0. No. 1. Okay, there we go. Now all of them hate me. All right, let's first of type inside the container or something, right? Let's just check it out. First child CSS. I always forget how this thing works. I don't know why. Some things stick with you and some things don't. It's within a list of items among a group of sibling elements, so that's not very helpful. So maybe we can just say, let's just do this. We're just going to grab the first index, and here we're going to say that if I equals 0, then just nada. Otherwise, actually, let's just do it the opposite way. If it doesn't equal 0, then we're going to add this button. And that way, oops, what did I do wrong? If I does not equal 0, return this button. I mean, that seems incredibly solid to me right now. Console. I think I just have to put it inside there. There we go. Okay, so now this one just doesn't have one. Seems fine by me, but what if it's the last one? I can't do that. Okay, back out to what we're doing. We got to actually figure out first child, or whatever that's going to be. Let's do first of type and see what that is. First of type. Sounds like I need to do a video on this so I can remember what it is. Represents the first element among a group of sibling elements. Well, I can just do first type on the card. So let's just do that and not worry about this button thing. So let's do this. So we're going to say, don't I have like a card thing somewhere? Yeah, okay. So we'll say card. Let's pull this thing up over here. Since open props didn't help us, that was my own fault, but I'm not sure what I was doing wrong there. We're going to say with card, if it's the first child, then I want to grab the close button. And inside of that, I want to grab the, no, yeah, just display of none. All right, so that one doesn't have one. But that way I think, can I like never remove this one? I'm not sure of the idea here. Let's just check. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. Final card. Okay, if it's only. Okay. So let's say, isn't there like an only child? There we go. So as I remove all these, once it becomes the only child, okay, then it doesn't have one. All right, so I think I'm done. I think that's mostly what I had to do. Hopefully that's correct. Remove this result. That all works. So we can do a couple things. We're done. I mean, I think I accomplished all the things that had to happen, and we did a little extra too, just because I don't want this to be like a 10-minute stream. So we actually generated all the cards. Now let's do this. Let's this is bonus, so you don't have to stick around. I mean, you didn't have to stick around before either, but and this card container, let's go ahead and have this section here. We'll have this be a section, and here we'll have like yeah, we'll just give it a class of it's our only section. This is not a big deal. Card container, we've also got like a input container. or something. So let's go ahead and take our section. This is going to be kind of disorganized, but hopefully you're all right with that. Say display of flex, gap of var something. Yeah. Let me move this up just so I can keep it next to the card container. So card container, here we go. Let's take a space of medium. And then what I want to do is grab the actual card background stuff. So let me grab all of this and this and this and this. We're going to put this all inside of the other thing we have, which was our input container. So let's grab our input container. Okay, so this is this content right here. And here I will set like a, let's do a flex 1 and like 48%. And we're going to do the same thing here on the card container. And that way they kind of take the natural space to start with. I will probably also come in here and add on this input container like an H2 that says like items we copied, or text quotes inserted. How about that? All right, and I think that's good. Then what we're going to do is have a list. So let's have a UI down here, a UL down here, and we'll call this like insert list or something. And the idea is you can copy stuff over from the generated cards and insert it into the quoted list. That's kind of the idea here. Oh, it looks like my watch figured out I'm awake. Thank you, watch. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so this insert list is where we're going to add the stuff, and this needs to be UI, an ID, but let's also make it a class so that I can style this. So we'll say class of insert list as well. First of all, let's hook up the JavaScript. And again, this is just kind of for funsies. And let's take this insert list or something. Sure. Insert list, and this is going to be my insert list. All I want to do is when I click on one of those buttons, so it needs to have a class or an ID. So probably a class because there are going to be several of them, right? So we'll say button insert. What do I have up here? Button close, but with a single dash for some reason. All right, so let's do insert, and this one will be copy. Oh man, this should be fun. Okay, so let's come down here to the button insert. We want to do some more stuff down here. So we don't need to return if it doesn't contain that. What I'll do instead is move this up to here. Let me just give ourselves a little bit of space. So let's close this down. Let's close all that down too. Okay. So let's give myself a little bit space over here just so you can see what's going on. So what we're going to do is when we click inside the card container over here, we're going to first of all see, hey, if it has a close button, go ahead and just remove it. Other checks. All right. So we could actually make this like a switch statement at this point. I don't know. Sometimes I prefer these because they're like really clean exactly what's going on here, but maybe we should. So we got the e.target.class list class list. I think that's right. And then we got a case where I've got to like do a switch and all that. Let's not do that. That's stupid. All right, so let's come down here. And the next thing we're going to grab is if it has a class list of close insert. Then all I want to do is grab the text, the sibling text. All right, so let's get this back up here. Here's what we're doing. This, we need to go up. We can do this a couple of different ways. We can go up 2 levels to the parent and then back down, or up 1 level into the sibling. But I think probably the thing that makes more sense is to give this thing a class that we can go closest to and go up the DOM tree, find it, and then pop it back down. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's do that. Let's come inside here. We'll give this a class of like quote or something. Right here. We'll call this quotation. And then all we have to do is then get the closest quotation. So it'll go up the DOM tree. It's like a query selector, but in reverse. And it will find the quotation and grab the text content from that quotation. So what I want to do is now, if it's insert, I want to grab the e.target.closest, and we're going to grab the closest thing that has a quotation on it, and we'll grab its text content. So we'll call this const quote equals all that stuff. So it should actually give me the text like a stitch in time or whatever it happens to be. In that case, what I want to do is grab that text and I want to drop it into the quote container. What do we call that? Insert list. So let's do that. So I've got that quote. Now I can just say insert list dot append. It's not a child because it's text content. So we could do another insert adjacent HTML, insert adjacent text, but I actually want it to be insert adjacent HTML because let's do before end. I want to put it inside of an li tag. So what I want is an li tag like this, and then we're just going to drop in the quote. So if I did that all correctly, we should be able to generate cards and click insert, and nothing happens, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. Close insert, button insert, I think. What is that thing called? Insert button, button insert. When this class, if it contains that class, let's just make sure something's happening down here. Okay, so let's pull this open, generate some cards, click insert. Cannot read properties in all text content. What? Maybe it's just a node, I guess. Quote null. Okay. So I can't do this. I thought I could. So let's go up to the card then. And then I guess we could just do a query selector off this. Query selector. Then I'm going to find the quotation. And then I'm going to grab the text content. Now a query selector. Why can't I grab the query selector off that? Okay, let's figure out what we're getting. So let's get rid of this. And right now we're going to get rid of this as well. And yeah, let's just console log this quote. All right, so what I want to do is grab the e.target and let's just go up, since let's make sure I can get the closest card to start with. So we're going to generate this. Closest card is null. Closest card, is that all I had to do? Okay. So now let's see if I can find the closest quotation. What's that thing called? Did I call it a quote or quotation? Quotation. So maybe it has to go up the DOM tree in some weird way that I'm not seeing. Okay, so let's go to the closest card. And then, like I said, let's do a query selector off this. And let's go inside of here and find the quotation. And let's see what that does. Okay. I'm not sure what I was doing wrong before, but I'll grab the text. Text content. I think that's what it is. Okay, that's what I want to insert right here. All right, there we go. So now it should be entering it, and it is. It's just way down here for some reason. Maybe it was doing that before and I just couldn't see it. I don't think it was because we had a problem. So, all right, so at least it's entering it in there properly. So now that we're getting these inserted in, oh, okay, we are. I was like, wait a second, where are they now? Let's come back over here to the quotes inserted, input container, display of grid. We're going to place content start. And then let's go ahead and, what do we call that thing? Insert list. Let's grab the insert list, which again, I'm going to, oh, it already has a class. Perfect. Okay, that's the only one I thought. Maybe I already added it. Here, let's do style something. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Let's do list style of none. And then we're going to do, let's grab inside of here all the LIs. Any direct LIs, I mean, that's fine. What we're going to do is add some padding. Yeah, let's do this. We'll do space 3. Extra small. And maybe we do 2 extra small up and down. And let's add a background color here. And we'll add like, let's do background. And then we'll add the same box shadow we've been doing. on these individual LIs. Yeah, that'll work. And then this just needs to be display of grid and gap of our. Let's see, can I just do this? Space small. All right, now they're kind of their own little things. That's kind of an aggressive blur shadow for that though. So let's do like 6 and 2. 8, I don't know. Let's do 5 and just back this thing off to like 0.05. Sure. Let's do border radius. There we go. And let's, while we're at it, let's just do this whole thing as 2x small, because it doesn't look like I've got enough room for that to breathe. Okay. So now we're inserting these things. As we insert them, what happened there? It should just pop them on the bottom. That's cool. The other thing we could do is copy, in which case we should have probably some kind of toast message. So should we create our own like toast library right now? We can also remove these. Everything's working properly. Can't remove this one. We can insert it though. Maybe what we should do is when you insert it, it should be removed. Maybe that's supposed to happen as well. Let's do it. So what we're going to do is also grab this and just remove the card itself. Like this. Unless it's the last child, because then you're not supposed to be able to remove it. But we're making this up anyhow. So you see it's actually deleting them as well, because like obviously I don't want to keep them around. But this one also lets me delete it, and I don't think it's supposed to do that. So do I care about this? E.target. Is there a way to check if this is like the first child or something? Or the last child? I don't know. Let's not worry about it because this is extra anyhow. Let's do the copy stuff next. All right, so we've done that. Let's come down here and say if this has a button copy. Then I want to do a couple other things. So I think what we're going to do is have, we're gonna definitely do our own little toast library here. What's the UI challenge? Oh, we already did the UI challenge. Now we're just playing. The UI challenge, let me actually show you what we're supposed to be doing. This full instructions. It was to basically create these little cards that are inserted, and then as they're inserted, you can remove them by clicking, and it should hover like this. When you hover, it should show this. Oh, we forgot the tooltip too. I thought about doing that. And then if it's on touch, you have to actually click, and then it will show, which we did that as well with the same state. I didn't have to do anything there. And then same thing over here. The extra thing is just if all these are removed, you shouldn't be able to remove the last one. So that was it. Okay, let's see. Button contains copy. Then I still want to grab the quote. So I guess I should have grabbed this too. And we could probably extract some of this out to make this a little bit better. But I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to grab the quote. Then what I want to do is use the navigator dot clipboard dot copy something. Let's check. Read, write text. Data is the clipboard items. So let's see if this actually works. So I'm gonna come over here, click copy, and I should be able to come over here and paste the quote. Okay. No. Let's see. How does this work? Navigator clipboard. Break down some of the animations used on Form Carry homepage. Never heard of Form Carry. Form Carry. Carry like that. Okay. Animations. Oh, where they just slide over and stuff. I mean, sure, we can do that if we want to. You know what we should add to this? I'm adding a list of stuff that we don't have time to do. All right. One is we want to do the Popover API because I've never played with that. Two is this stream is totally over, by the way. You can do whatever you want. Navigator, clipboard, right? What else do we want to do? Oh, yeah. Create our own toast library. Then K. Roberts wants us to, you don't use the homepage animations pretty good. Okay. He wants us to do like intersection observer API animations or something like that. So I want to show animations as they insert stuff. Then what we need to do is go ahead and just do like a full, what do we call that? View transitions. So they'll slide up as we get rid of them. Okay. There's no way we're doing all this today, but I'm already done with this stream. I was going to be done because I have other stuff to do, evidently, but you just can't stop sometimes. Am I right? Okay, so we insert. That's all working. Copy. Okay, what were we doing? Oh yeah, looking at this. Clipboard read. Clip text, read text. Read text. I don't need to read. I want to write. Permission, clipboard. Write. Arbitrary data. Write text. Returns a promise, which is resolved once the text is fully copied to the clipboard. Okay. So what if we do a write text and see what that does? Because this should be text. So let's generate cards, copy this, paste. Oh, look at that. Genius. Okay, so let's go ahead and store this in like a thing that says like copied status or something equals await, because it said it's a, right? Which means I just need to come up here and have this be an async function. And then let's grab this down this way and open this up. Good morning, Eddie. Welcome. So copy undefined. Cool. Copied status. I thought it was supposed to return something. It returns a promise, which is resolved. Okay. I guess it's just always going to work, so we don't even need to store this thing. We'll just say that the next thing we're going to do, I guess we can await it. And then after we await it, we're going to throw in another toast. So we'll like show toast, and we're going to pass it code copied. Now we got to build out. Let's see, what should we do next? Create our own toast library is definitely what we're doing. So let's go ahead and come up here. That may not happen. I don't know. We'll see. This is probably the order this should happen in if anything happens. So when we copy here, show toast. Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm going to write it. Let's come back up here. Let's have function show toast. And here we're going to take in the toast message. Let's just take in a message. Okay, then what we want to do is, let's see, we could do this in a couple different ways. I think probably what I want to do is have a like a little wrapper thing. So let's just come up here and we're going to have like a toast. Yeah, let's do a toast container. And we'll also give it the ID. And let's take this thing over here. Let's just add random toast stuff. Toast stuff. Toast container. Let's display fixed. Nope. Position fixed. And it should be somewhere on the page. Let's do like bottom var space large. And we'll do the same thing. And then I'll put this off to the right. Okay, so it should be somewhere over here, right under my head. Let's see, how long we've been going on? I don't even know what I'm doing. 6:33. I guess we can go on about an hour or so. But let's see. Now what I want to do is grab the toast container. So let's do this. Toast container. I think that's right. Then on the generate toast thing, I just want to toast container.append child. I don't know. Let's just insert it adjacent HTML again. We'll do before end, and then we need to insert some HTML. So let's have just a paragraph tag, and this will have our message. And let's give this a class of toast. So if I come over here, generate cards, we copy. Where's my thing? Oh, is it below everything? Oh yeah, it's below, I think. Maybe. Before end, toast, message. I think that's right. Okay, so let's go ahead. Just to make sure that we can actually see this, let's say background issue like red or something. And then let's just see if it actually shows. Oh yeah, okay, so now we just need to z-index this thing to the top. Let's do 1,000, because that will help. There we go, quote copied. So as I copy these, they just continue to add. So Now what we need to do is we're going to basically grab the same thing we did on this insert list. So all this stuff, let's see, maybe this should be an LI or UL. I think it should be. Let's do it. So in which case I can just basically duplicate all this logic. So let's make this a UL. And let's come back over here. Obviously, you'd probably want to compress the CSS a little bit, but yeah. Let's non-display grid. I think that's right. So if I come over here and copy, these should just pop in like that. Okay, cool. Let's get rid of this. These are going to be LIs now, so let's change that as well. Okay. Ready for this magic? Look at these quotes copied. They're just popping up. Okay. So that's what we want. Let's come back over here though. Toast container grid. Let's do it like an extra small. And then I feel like these need like some kind of border just to distinguish them. So let's say border 2 pixels, solid, and we'll use our muted color. Oh, look at that. Let's do 1 pixel. That way it's just real clear what those things are. Now, here's what we want to do. We want to animate them on and off, right? Why is this thing overflowing? Did I not wrap that? I haven't even looked at it if anyone's watching more. Oh, we do have some people watching. I'm just playing around at this point, so you guys, you're welcome to stay or leave or do whatever you want. But flex, wrap of wrap. But if you can't have fun with it, then what are you even doing, right? So, what is going on with this bad boy? Input container. Or do like a max width. Did I have a max width here? Aha, that's 280. Input container. It's yelling at me right here. Okay. So that's probably a little too small. Maybe not. Okay. I don't know, something like that. Let's just go back and now try to fix something that isn't broken. Other thing I might do is just set the justify content to the center. Input container on that, on this. Justify content center, right? Oh, it's because that other thing's going to take up more width. Okay. Let's take input container. That's all fine. Let's take this. Okay. We got to set the max width on the actual list. Otherwise, is that right? It says a background color too, though. Oh. I'm getting distracted. Let's just do it like this and be done. Okay. We'll say that this grows twice as big. That's not going to help. Okay, because it has a max width on it. Say it can't grow. There we go. Okay. So now that one can't grow as it kind of stays in the middle. It's a little stupid. Okay. Let's just put it back and not worry about it. What were we doing? Oh yeah, these copy things. So you see how they get copied here. Now what we need to do is remove those. So there's a couple things we could do. We could have it, we could have it animate, and then after the animation ends, we could listen to an event on those, but they don't exist yet, so it's hard to listen to something. We could just run the animation in JavaScript. Let's do that. So let's first of all create an animation. So we'll say the toast dot. We'll do animation like slide off or something like that. Probably also have the toast container be like overflow hidden or something. Let's just do this actually on the whole wrapper. On the section wrapper. Where do I want this thing? Now, yeah, let's just do it back where we had it on the overflow hidden. I think that'll work. So it'll slide off out of there. So we'll do like 200 milliseconds forwards, think that's right. So then what we want is a keyframe. We're going to call this slide off. And we're going to say it goes to 100% is, or we could just do 2. And this would be transition. Nope. Translate X. Transform. Translate X. Let's do like 200%. 200 milliseconds. I think that's right. So now if we generate these cards, yeah, that should work. Okay, so we got to delay it though too. So let's do like 2 seconds to delay it. Quote copied. They slide off. Look at that. Okay. Forwards. Let's do like a cubic Bezier curve or something too on those. Be really convenient if my face wasn't there. So I'm gonna get rid of my face. Sorry for all those who came to see my face. Okay, so that slides off. I'll do 400 milliseconds just to make it a little nicer. So yeah, they slide off like that. Okay. So after they slide off, let's see. Maybe I need some kind of wrapper on this whole thing, because I think the problem is, yeah. So let's put a wrapper on everything. Let's put it onside of a main tag. What? Okay, then let's come back over here. And I'm going to set this on the body. And set this on the main. Then I should be able to say position relative. I'm going to generate these, copy this, and it should slide off, but I won't have overflow now because now it takes up the entire section. Hopefully that makes sense. Quote copied, nice little toast notification. It slides right off. Now it's still there. It's just slid off at this point. So what I can do, I think, is, let's see, how do I want to do this? I show the toast. I think I need to actually grab, I need to grab access to that toast in some capacity. So it needs to have some kind of ID probably. Yeah, so let's just throw an ID on there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up here. We're going to grab rando ID. And we can use the crypto thing that's built into JavaScript. We'll just grab a random UUID. And there's probably way better ways to do this, but that's all right. We're going to paste in that rando ID. Then I'm going to document .query selector, and I'm going to look for the ID of rando ID. And we're going to listen to an event, which would be animation, what is that? Transition end? Just no help whatsoever. Animation end event. I'm not sure why my IntelliSense is not working. It's just animation end. Okay. Animation end. So when it ends, then I just want to, we can do this in a couple different ways, but probably the easiest thing is just to say this, right? Because it's an arrow function, so it should grab reference to that. Yeah, so we'll say this dot remove, and let's see what happens. So over here, we're going to generate cards. What happened here? Oh, I think it's because of the way I did that stupid thing I was working on earlier. Okay. Now I got this going on. How did I break everything all over again? All right, so that's not important. What is important is this main toast container. Okay, so I want to see if I get any ULs or LIs added here, and I do. And it should, after it's done animating, remove itself. And it doesn't. Okay, so let's just console. Let's grab it like this, and that way we can just add an event listener on the end of it. So let's pull those over here, and we'll just say toast dot add event listener, and we can console.log ending and just see if anything happens at all. Okay, so we generate these cards, we click copy, ending. Okay, so it does I just need to now remove the toast. So I guess I'll just do toast.remove like that. Now let's come back over here, look inside here. Copy. Toast is there. There. Why isn't it removing it? Uncaught. Query selector on document. Can't find that. Oh, it's not a valid selector. Well, we can fix that. I'm going to add an A to the front of it. We can, while we're doing whatever we want. We're already kind of hacky. There we go. Okay, so now it's deleting it. That's not how, you can't do a class like that. So now it removes it. Okay, so the cool thing is we could just throw these things in all day and they just slowly, get added to the bottom of the list. Now, I probably honestly want this to go to the top of the list, so we can do like before, after, begin. So that way new ones come to the top. And then they get removed from the bottom. Oh, yes. Okay. So then as I copy these, they kind of slide down. A little janky, but it works. Okay. So we created our own little toast thing. This is kind of, it's very hacky, but that's fine. It works. Okay, so we did this. Let's check this thing off. Do I want to look at the Popover API, or should we just call this thing done? We got any votes out there? Let's just check it out while I'm waiting on a vote. Popover API. Okay. Popover target. Declarative view a set new HTML attributes. Simple popover with a toggle button can be created. It's simple. I like this toggle button. My popover, the ID here shows. Okay. Needs a target though, which means I need to have an ID. Well, we already know how to make really hacky custom IDs. Target, backdrop, popover open, pseudo element. Okay, so I should definitely be reading more of that. Let's jump over here and see if this is like it gives me a quick example. Okay. So what happens? It just stays there? Okay. CSS. So I do actually need to position it, but I'm already doing that with the other thing. Okay, that's not hard. I click over here. I don't have to add any JavaScript at all. Oh, son. So now, the cool thing here, the idea is like as you move this around, it just takes up the space where it needs it. And you can actually also exit out with the escape key. Okay, so let's do this. Apologies. Hopefully you can see okay. I'm getting some kind of readout. Okay, that my network was bad, but I think I'm not actually plugged into the network today. I'm just over Wi-Fi, which probably isn't smart, but okay, so let's come back over here. We've got these escapes, right? Right here, move results. So here we need to pop over target equals to, don't you worry, I have the perfect solution for this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a rando ID, and we're gonna make this its own little function. Function get rando ID. And here we're just going to return crypto.random, but wait for it. We're gonna throw an A on the front of it. So that way it's valid. Okay, so we're gonna get this from get rando ID. Let's see, get rando ID. Yeah, that's right. And then where was the other thing we needed down here? Okay. What I need to do, get my rando ID. This needs to be inside here. Okay, and then what I need is next to the button, I need some kind of popover thing. So let's go ahead and add this next to the button, which won't show by default. And this will be the same ID, right? So this will be this. And this will be a rando ID. So because I grabbed it up here, it should be the same reference for each of these individual things. And here's where it's going to say remove this result. I think that's right. The other nice thing here is that not only is it keyboard focusable, I think it'll actually send up an alert. And then the other thing is you don't have, what's the other thing I heard that this thing does? Well, like if I click on the before pseudo element, it will also close it. And I don't really want that. So yeah, let's do that. Now I do have to click on it. I didn't think about that. Can I just, maybe that's why you don't do this for this, because I think the whole point is you click. Okay, so let's just get it working, and then let's remove all this, because I just wanted to play around with that, because I don't think that would actually work well. So we're going to do a couple things. So let's come over here to the before, or the after, I think it was. Hover opacity after. Okay, yeah. So the first thing we should probably just do is make this pointer events none, and then we can't click on it and close the button. In fact, we can't even hover over it. If we try to, it just gets out of there. But then let's get rid of all this for now. And what we're going to do is just, for now, get rid of that query selector, or the actual thing that closes things. So let's see if it contains this. So let's get rid of this now just so it won't delete it. So if I come over here, this shouldn't delete now, but it says remove result. Okay, cool. So remove result. Oh, I gave those things. We could just say anything with the attribute of popover though. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll say if it has popover. Then I just want to grab all of this, right? Okay, I think that's good. Now if I click here, position absolute. How do I fix it to that? Shouldn't it just be fixed automatically? Popover, my popover. What do they have to do here? Position absolute, left, right. So I do have to do a left, right, okay. So I have to actually position it according to that, maybe. Oops. It's just doing it to the body. I thought this X thing. Oh, you know what? It's not inside it anymore. So the card actually has to have something. So let's come find the card. And then we're going to remove all this because it's not going to work the way we want it to. But we'll say position, relative. And now I can click this. No. I wonder why that's not working the right way. Is this like on a different layer? Completely forgot about wrapping. Yeah, those properties you can wrap, and or any attributes you can wrap like that. Popover target. This is the popover. Right here. This is position absolute. And reference to its parent here. Position relative. Oh, I have a position relative down here already. Huh. This must be... Okay, so it's on its own little thing. It's on its own layer in CSS. Internal popover and top layer backdrop. Okay, let's just see how we can get this thing. Alright, true. Close. Popover target action hide. By default, such as the previous, this is called Learn About the Popover API with Chris. Button element that opens the popover will toggle it and open and close. However, you can also create explicit popover target action. I just want to style it better. Styling popovers. Okay. backdrop. Difference between popover, okay, and dialogue. Oh, I was supposed to click on that. Whoops. Entry and exit. Oh, that's kind of cool. Anchoring position. Okay, this is what I want. Anchor. Okay, thank you. The menu toggle. So that's what I have to anchor it to. That's how this works. Okay. I thought I remember there was some kind of like anchor thing. But the cool thing is it'll position it based on where it's on the screen. So let's go ahead and add this in, and then let's remove all this work afterwards. I just want to figure out how this thing works. Okay, so we got a random ID, and we are going to call this Popover. Oop. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do Popover ID. Get rando ID. Then we'll have another one we'll call like button ID. And that one here, we will say ID equals, and inside here we'll have button ID. Popover the target anchor. Anchor button. No, that's not right. Where are we at? Down here. Anchor is going to point to the button ID. Okay, so if we did that right, now I should be able to come over here. Wait, what did I do? Rando ID is not defined. Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be Popover. Okay, so now if I click here, nope, click here. Ah, curses. All right, well, there's more work to be done here, but I probably shouldn't spend more time on this. So we got this, that's proper. This one points to a different one. And the other one should point back to 8A8. 8, it does. Isn't that what it said I had to do? Anchor menu toggle, and then use anchor menu toggle to select the two items. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Menu items. Good thing we didn't give up. Let's wait till we actually get this working. Let's see, bottom left. The bottom is the anchor bottom. Let's do that and see what this does. I'm definitely gonna have to do a video on this though. That's super interesting to me. Except it's definitely not working. Okay, so we're gonna just get rid of all that. But I mean, I think I got a decent understanding of how it works. I just need to play with it more now so I can actually do more content with it, and then, or like figure it out, and then I'll do more content at that point. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of all that. We're gonna call that a semi-success, mostly a fail. But we did get to play around with getting random IDs. So that was exciting. Let's see, let's get all the way out of here. Let's see, after begin. Is that right? This also needs to have, I like this. Okay, so let's just make sure it's back to working the way it's supposed to. That shows properly. I can't click on that. So we made that slight improvement. This shows these come in, they slide off, and they remove. Let's just make sure we got nothing left in here. Okay, good. So back to what we were doing. Well, we're going to call this, this one was a check, success. This one here was fail. This one, intersection observer, we can do that. All right, and then probably at some point, we should end this stream. So I forget, Kay maybe was asking about this. So like these animations here. So the way they're doing this, I would assume, is some kind of intersection observer API, where as these things enter the screen, they kind of like slide in. Let's see if I can hard refresh. Okay, so as I come in here, these things kind of slide in, maybe. There we go. There's our slide. So we can do that too. First thing we need to do is add some stuff to these cards. So what we can do is just say the cards, let's have like a fade up class or something on them. So here we go. So we'll say like fade up, and then let's add a little animation over here. So we'll say fade up. This will be, to start with, we'll have it like transform, translate Y, do like 200 pixels. I think that's down. Let's just check. So it should be down below. Okay, yeah. So maybe we'll just do like 100% or 60%, something like that. We'll have opacity of 0 on it. Now what we're going to do is whenever fade up has a class of faded on it, faded, then we're going to do opacity of 1, and we'll transform, translate Y, translate Y back to 0%. And then we can add an animation here. So transition, transform, 200 milliseconds, ease, and out. All right, so now everything should have that. So if I generate these, they're not going to show. They're technically there. Now what I need to do is grab all of these. So maybe we should actually just create a separate module. So we're going to call this like intersection obs.js. And let's come back over to our HTML and hook that thing up. So call this intersection obs. Then over here, what we're going to do is, first of all, const fadables, document.query selector all, anything with the class of fade up. Then we're going to create a new intersection observer API. Go full desktop. There's like one curtains, which is pretty cool. Okay, I probably won't have time to do the whole thing, but let's see what the full one is. Like that thing, maybe. Oh, like that part. Yeah, that is pretty cool. It's using the same idea though as what we're going to do. You just have to change the animation. So hopefully this will give you what you need. Because the idea is, how do you delay until it gets on screen? And that's the hard part. The animation itself isn't that difficult. So we'll call like fade obs equals a new intersection observer. And here it takes a couple things. It takes a function, it takes some options. So we can do the function inline or outline or outside of it. Either way, let's just take in our entries and we'll console.log our entries. Actually, what we'll do is say entries.for each entry. Then we're going to console.log the E. Yeah, let's just do that, the entry. Right now, this options object, we can pass in a bunch of things, like a threshold, like how far off it should be. So we could say like 0.7 or something like that. And I'll show you the difference here in a second. But, oops, this is an object. Now what we need to do is actually call the intersection observer on this. And we probably want to remember to remove it before I forget. But so what we're going to do is come down here and we're going to grab the fadables dot fade obs dot something observe, and we're going to observe all the fadables. I think that might be right. Okay, let's see. Not right. Okay, so what I need to do is, I think, take my fadables dot for each fadable, then we're going to observe the fadable. Maybe. Okay, so generate cards. Oh, you know what? I can't find these yet. So I got to figure out how I want to do this. So this is kind of hard because we're inserting it dynamically. Style components. Animation isn't too hard, just the function of being called on view. Haven't seen intersection observer. Yeah, I've done a couple of videos on it in the past. In this case, since we're generating the cards, we've got some extra challenges here. So what I probably need to do, I need to have like a mutation observer or something. So this is getting a little bit more complicated. So let me just go ahead and let's get this card HTML. Actually, I'm going to generate this like this. And we're going to come inside here. And I'm just going to steal all this. I won't tell if you don't tell. Let's grab all this card container. And we're going to grab all of this. Can I grab all this? Okay, card container. Let's come over to the HTML. And we're going to dump this all right inside here. Okay, that way they're already there, which also means now these things are observing. So obviously normally you'd have it on the page, like you're not dynamically inserting these things. There's like, you could do an opening animation on those, but that's still a little bit different. So there'd be a little bit more work you have to do, but generally this is probably what you're looking for, is something that's already in the DOM that you then want to animate rather than like generating cards that animate. So I'm assuming that's what you prefer, but you'll notice that I get a bunch of things. The cool thing is I get this is intersecting. So now I can just come in here and say is intersecting. And it tells me for each of the things that I'm looking at, are they intersecting the screen? Now watch, as soon as I move this down, it's technically in view. It's like somewhere here, right? Because I can click. So now what we want to do is say if it is intersecting, then I want to do some stuff. All right, I'm going to pull this up here too. So if it's intersecting, do stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to ignore it. So what I want to do is I want to say the e.target, so the actual element that's being observed. What I want to do is look at that, and I want to add class list.add. We're going to add the faded class to it. So notice, as I scroll in, these things just scroll in view. Now, the actual faded class is where you're going to do all your styling. And you can name these things whatever you want. But basically, I mean, I could say like, I don't know, rotate like, I don't know, 360 degrees or one turn or something. All right, every time they come in, they just start spinning. That would be atrocious. Don't do that. I will never talk to you if you do, but you can see now they kind of pull in as you want. So as I move, they all pull in like that. And now the thing is they're still being observed even though they're already in. So for instance, if I were to come back over here, and this is why you want to make sure you remove it, console.log, the e.target, or just like still here. So it's still here, still here, still here. And notice it's still observing. So it's just doing work for no reason whatsoever. So what you can do is come in here and say e.target.unobserve. Unobserve. E.unobserve. There's an unobserved something. Unobserved. I think it's fade obs.unobserve. And then I pass the e.target. Okay, so let's try that. So now as it comes in, you'll notice it's no longer doing that work, although I took that off, so now you can't even see. Console.log. Still here. Okay. So it'll show the first time, right? But then after that, it's done observing. So you've removed the observer, so it's no longer doing work. So once all those fadables are in, then you're set to go. So hopefully that makes sense. That's how you do that. And like I said, I've done some videos on that. That might be a help to you as well. But, okay, so we did the next thing. I mean, we really should be done. We should be done to start with. So I showed you how to do that. Check. Because we use that, I'm going to get rid of this HTML here. Go back to this. So it won't work anymore on these generated cards. So the other thing I need to do is remove that faded class up here. Fade up. But what we can do is add this on the things that are already pre-existing, just because we already did the work. So I could say, for instance, fade up, and now the same thing is going to happen there. We could do the same thing here, fade up, and we could do the same thing here, even though you can't even see it. So let's not do that. So now they actually start like that. The other thing is we want to make sure that these transition, this should have also been set on the opacity. So hopefully that helps. Hey, you're welcome, Kay. We're in play territory, so you know, we can do whatever we want right now. So you can see how they start opacity, they slide in like that. So, okay. Last thing we had thought about doing would be view transitions. I mean, this isn't that difficult, but view transitions, let's just steal, well, let's see what MDM has on it. So what you can do is fire an event. Okay, so so we're going to update the view. Grab the first child with the events fired on. Okay. start transition, and then display new image. Okay, so what we're going to do is as things are removed, we're going to start a view transition on the document itself. Let me just make sure I'm understanding this. I've looked at this before and had a video like 30% done, but it's been a couple weeks and I haven't gotten back to it, so I'm going to forget. Okay. So you got view transition name. You can give things names. Fig caption. And then you can select the old and new and decide what to kind of do between the two. So here's another one with JavaScript. This is what we're going to want. Update the data. Transition ready. Okay. So they're actually creating, I just want to remove stuff. So I should be able to do a transition name on the container that holds, I mean, we could do this for both the toast, excuse me, and the cards. So let's do that. Let's start with the cards though. So I'm going to come in here and give this thing, how do I give it a transition name? It's all in CSS, I think. So let's come over here to card, container, transition name, card container. What does this have to look like? Okay. View transition name, card container. Then I think I can just do it on the whole transition for the card. Like the container, I don't have to do it on individual cards. In fact, I want to do it on the container. Document animate. Document.start view transition. Okay, let's just play with this. I have no idea if I can figure this out quickly, but all right, so back over here when we remove this, here's what I want to do. I want to check, nope, I want to check, I'm not going to do a check if the document start view transition exists. Let's just assume it does. Start view transition. So we're going to do card container dot start view transition. And then I'm just going to do this. Let's see what happens. No. It's not a function. Start view transition. Okay, so maybe I just do it. I have to do it on the document and it figures it out. No. Okay, document. Oh, spelling. Son. Okay, once again. I mean, it works. That's pretty cool. Now I just need to do let's see, document view transition like morph or something like that. Isn't that what it's called? Multi-page apps, Dave Rupert. This is for MPAs though. Fade, opacity, all stuff going out. Let's grab this and see what this does. Okay, so let's come back over here and let's go right here. And here we're going to grab the card container. See what this does. So, can I also transition this or something? So, from, how would I want to transition this? Doesn't Adam Argyle do stuff like this? Adam Argyle, view transitions API, and then I probably at some point should be done with this stream since I've been done for quite a while now. Transition examples, I already know those. Oh, that's without it. Man, where'd I go? And this is a good... Okay, with it. Height, section... There's no like old new thing here, it's just adding those. Okay. We could also do it on this card thing. Let's do that. And we won't worry about this for now. We'll just transition. Can I just like fade off the trans... Yeah, let's maybe try that. I'm not gonna worry about that. Let's come back up to this right here. And here's where we're gonna add this. So now, these will also fade in. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay. And now if I get rid of these, that also works. Now, that one doesn't, so I need to do the same thing here. Where I grab all this, insert, and we do the same thing here. Close that card, remove. So now, if I insert it, let's pull this next to each other so I don't hate myself too much. I'm not sure why there's overflow. I also need to figure that out at some point. In fact, I'm definitely going to figure that out because it's going to drive me insane. Whoa! What is that? Linear reverse. Not sure. Is that a funky thing? What's going on here? Wait for it. Let's get rid of all that. Let's try it again. Why are we stretching? I don't understand what's going on there. Okay, well, not sure what that's about. It has something to do with the way, it's probably the overflow. It's the same problem. So we'll figure that out in a second. Let's go ahead and do the same thing though. Now to our, not fadeable, let's get out of here. Let's do the same thing to these show toasts. Right, so show toast. Let's wrap this whole thing in a transition observer. Or yeah, that thing. Now I think I need to give this a different, oops. Yeah. So if I copy this, let's get rid of my face again. I'm not sure. So those things are not happening because I think I need to give it a name as well. So to toast something container, view transition name, toast container. Now it's got a consistent name across different instances. So if I copy, look at that, it just slides in. I'm not sure why it's all like going up now though. So there's some work to be done as far as how it handles these old ones. And look. Huh. Insert adjacent, toast container, random ID, toast event, animation remove. Okay, so I also have to wrap this, I think. Wait a second. This is what I need. I think that's what it's not doing a view transition when it removes it. So now if I copy it, they slide in and they remove. It's still not working. If you use transition, toast remove, toast container, toast container.insert adjacent HTML. Huh. Not totally sure what's happening there. So I don't know. If the toast isn't working for some reason, we won't worry about that. But I'll go ahead and remove it in case somebody like tries to follow along with this and fails hard, like we've just done. And we'll do the same thing. I'll remove this, but anyhow, it's kind of cool to play with. Let's figure out this stupid overflow thing before I... I'm guessing it's this thing right here. Nope. What is causing all this overflow? What's over here? All right, well, let's do the thing that you do sometimes, which is we're going to take everything. We're going to add a border 1 pixel
solid, and red. And then we're going to figure out what is causing this mess. What? There's a dot over here. What is this dot? Aha! The toast container. Curse you, toast container. Toast container. Did I not put like any kind of, let's do inset 0. Look at, is it still over here? Okay. Toast container. Let's go up to the main. Position relative. Huh. I'm not totally sure why that's happening. If you see what's going on here, let me know. But like this thing is... Okay, so it's not actually that. What am I overflowing over here? What's this thing? This is the toast container. Let's just style this thing separately here. I don't know what's going on, but I think that'll fix our view transition problem too. Fixed inset 0, display list, style none, display grid. Can I not have this? Wait a second. Toast container doesn't like this. I don't think that's the problem though. Position fixed, inset 0. Huh. Now it's not showing. Now it's fixed magically. Magic fixes. That's my favorite. I don't know what I'm doing. Select the toast container and delete it from the DOM. That's true. The hard thing now is like, so I want this generate cards thing to be above that. I think that's the problem here, is somehow I didn't have it inset, so it wasn't actually positioned anywhere. So I think that is the problem. So I will do that if this doesn't work. But let's come over to our generate. I could set this off on its own layer. CSS layer. Forget how that's done because this is pretty new too. Look at all this new stuff we're doing. Layer state. So layer module, layer state. So yeah. So let's do this. Let's set off our own module. Toast container. We're going to call this toast. And then say layer toast. And we're going to put all the toasty stuff in here. Should just be this. And I think that will fix some of our problems because it'll kind of remove it from the rest of the things and then we don't have to worry as much. Nope. That was a great try though. That was pretty good. What am I doing? All I have to do is add. Let's just do this. I just don't want to click on the toasts. So let's just do a pointer event none and then I can go right through them. Okay, I think that's the problem. So now I can click. What? Okay, now we're going to remove that and see if that's the problem. Toast container. Nope, not the problem. It's probably... Let's come over here and get rid of this altogether, which it will yell at me. But I'm still getting this fade, weird fade thing. Oh, wait a second. I saw something magic over here. Oh, you know what it is? It's those little before pseudo elements. Okay, let's go to the main. And we're going to add overflow hidden on this. That's the problem, I think. Yeah, it's these pseudo elements. They're sticking over the side. Okay. Well, that'll help slightly. The other thing we can do is just come down to the after. I think they're after pseudo elements. We could set this like to the right 90 or something like that, and then you hover over this and it says remove this result. Let's just do that, and that way they're over the cards. I think that fixed our problem too. Yeah, now they come in. Okay. Let's also come back over here and I'm sorry, buddy. It wasn't your fault. Okay. So let's try this again. Now, let's get rid of that main thing we did. Or we got rid of this. Okay. Deleting, you can find other elements outside your main. Yep. Okay, so now we should be able to just... Let's go back to our toast container since we fixed that so well. And get rid of that. Okay, back over here. Now, we're going to generate these cards again. And now we should be able to copy. They pop up down here, those quotes, and they disappear. We delete these. We get this nice little fading effect. Insert them. Same thing. And look at that. Okay. Well, that is certainly a stream that's done. At this point, we're just... I guess there are some people still watching, but hopefully that was entertaining for somebody besides myself. But I enjoy playing around with this kind of stuff, and a big thanks to my friend who sent that in to me. If you have a UI challenge that you want to do at work and you don't want to have to do it, and you want me to fail on stream live, just let me know. But I think this one actually went okay. We kind of got distracted, but what's a good stream without a little distraction? I also need to change this intersection. I'm sorry, I'm totally done. I swear. We're going to come down here and just get rid of this threshold. In other words, if any portion of this is on the screen now, it should show. Yeah, immediately it'll basically pop in, which is just what we want. A little fast for me. So, faded. Let's CSS. Here we go. Fade something. Fade. Here we go. Okay. So let's go. Let's just transition it down like, I don't know, 30 pixels. Translate it down and then it pulls it back up. Yeah, we don't need to be that intense. Copy. All those things are coming in, sliding off after a certain amount of time. Okay. All right, well, hope that was fun for somebody. Thanks for watching. Half of your videos, my English is not that good. Oh, sorry, Eddie. I wish I knew another language. I'm slowly learning Spanish with the help of a friend, but slowly is the operative word. I've got like 180 vocab words and I sound like an American, so not sure that'll ever change. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'm not sure why my video is so blown out here, but I hope you enjoyed that, and go have fun today. Go code something for fun and add some extra stuff like we did today. But to have like a full completion here, we need to come over here and check this off. Popover API mostly worked. It was the wrong tool for the job. So yeah. Speak Spanish. Oh, you do, Eddie. Nice. I would say something in Spanish, but I'm too embarrassed. So thanks, Eddie. All right. Thanks so much. I will catch you all next time. Happy coding.